So you've been creating some notes, but it turns into this big, huge hodgepodge of everything, and that's not very useful. So you can see I've got a lot of notes, but there's a way to organize them. So I've got a lot of mine filed. So right now you see I'm looking in all notes, but I could just as easily be looking in unfiled notes. So I've only got a handful of notes that I haven't filed. Well, how do you create these files? So up here you'll see this plus, and if I tap the plus, I've got a couple options. I can create a subject or I can create a divider. Now I don't like the nomenclature, so the way they named these two things, but the way I think about it is subject equals notebook and divider equals class. So I've created one for my physics when I teach physics, and here are all my notebooks within my physics class. Pretty cool. So if I go to my honors physics research project and tap that, you'll notice here are all the notes I've created inside of my honors physics research project notebook, inside my physics class. Pretty cool. Now, if you've got unfiled notes, all you have to do is you tap and hold on your unfiled note and you drag it to where you want it to be. So I could drag this one and you'll see how these are popping up. Whoop, whoop. And you'll see I can't put it into physics because this physics is not open. But if let's go back here and just set it down for a second. If I open physics, now I can pick this unfiled note up and I can say stick it in here into my illustrations for iBooks notebook. And then it jumped right over there. So now if I go to illustrations for iBooks, that's where it ended up. Pretty cool. I can always pick it up out of there and put it back in unfiled notes if I want to. And it'll move back to unfiled notes. So you can always move them around. Other things to know. Let's say you created a note and you no longer want it. You just want to delete it. If I click on a note and I swipe to the side, I then have the option to delete it. I don't have to. Then I can just tap somewhere else if I don't want to delete it by accident. Not so bad. And then if I want to delete notebooks, I can click on this edit button over here, and then you'll notice I get some settings. So I can tap on this, and I can change its name, or I can delete it. I could change the color or the icon, or I could put a password on it if I wanted to password protect it. Or I can just click close. And then you'll also notice that on each of these, you'll see these little sets of lines. So if I want to reorganize them, I just have to click on that, and now I can drag these around. And so let's say I created just a notebook before, but now I wanted to put, say, my forms inside of my physics divider. I could do that just by clicking and dragging that to there. And again, if I don't like it there, I can always just click and drag that back out again. Not so bad. And then I can minimize that and open one of my other notebooks by tapping on the little arrow, there. Tap on that little arrow, and I can open this one up. And then I can move these around. Pretty cool. So when you're all done, you can click Done. Now, as I said, Notability is great for taking notes, but what's going to happen is if you start taking all sorts of notes, they're going to get very disorganized. I highly recommend organizing them by classes, what we're calling our create divider. Those are going to be different classes, and then different notebooks within that class. Maybe you have a different notebook for each unit, or however you want to organize it that's going to work for you.